Good morning, children. The story we have today is called Come On, Rain. We're going to learn a little bit about what happens when it rains and the water cycle. And this week in our science lessons, we're going to learn a lot about the water cycle, condensation, evaporation, and how God made our world to work so that water is used on the earth, goes in the air, comes back down again, and plant life and animal life, it all depends on that water. And it's really interesting how the water is replenished and refreshed. So a lot of our stories this week will be about water. This is a fun story about some little girls and their mothers and how they enjoyed the rainstorm. I'd like you to listen for describing words of how the weather makes the people in this story feel. What kind of weather do you think is happening in this picture? What's a clue there? The umbrella looks like it's blowing away, so it must be a windy day. Come on, rain, I say, squinting into the endless heat. Mama lifts a listless vine and sighs. 3 weeks and not a drop, she says, sagging over her parched plants. So how do you think Mama is feeling doing her gardening? It uses words like listless and sagging. Do you think maybe the heat is making her feel tired? But on this page, her daughter, it looks like she's having a lot of fun. She has a smile on her face, and she looks like she's dancing, putting her hands up in the air. Sometimes different people feel different ways, and the weather can have an effect on how we feel, whether it's a sunny day or a cloudy day, hot or cold. The sound of a heavy truck rumbles past. Uneasy, Mama looks over to me. Is that thunder, Tessie? She asks. Mama hates thunder. I climb up the steps for a better look. It's just a truck, Mama, I say. I am sizzling like a hot potato. I ask Mama, may I put on my bathing suit? Absolutely not, Mama says, frowning under her straw hat. You'll burn all day out in this sun. And there she is up on her porch. She says she's sizzling like a potato. What do you think that means? And why do you think her mother doesn't want her to put on her bathing suit? Because she's afraid that she'll get a sunburn, right? Do you think, by looking at these pictures, do you think the little girl lives out in the country or in the city? What's your clue there? All those buildings and some apartment buildings. Up and down the block, cat pants. Heat wavers off tar patches in the broiling alleyway. Ms. Grace and Ms. Vera bend, tending beds of drooping lupins. Lupins are a type of flower. Not a sign of my friends Liz or Rosemary. Not a peep from my pal Jackie Joyce. I stare out over the rooftops, past chimneys, into the way off distance, and that's when I see it coming. Clouds are rolling in. Gray clouds, bunched and bulging under a purple sky. A creeper of hope circles around my bones. Come on, rain, I whisper. So if the clouds are big and bulging and they're gray, what do you think's coming? Quietly, until Mama weeds, I cross the crackling dry path past Ms. Glick's window. While her Mama's weeding, she's sneaking past. Glancing inside as I hurry by, Miss Glick's needle sticks on her phonograph, playing the same notes over and over in the dim, stuffy cave of her room. So right here, this big horn is called a phonograph. And that used to be what people had in their homes to play records, to play music. We don't see those in people's homes nowadays, do we? Lots of times people play music from their phones or a CD player. The smell of hot tar and garbage bullies the air. So that means two different smells are fighting back and forth together. They're bullying each other in the air, the hot tar and the garbage. As I climb the steps to Jackie Joyce's porch. Jackie Joyce, I breathe, pressing my nose against her screen. Jackie Joyce comes to the door. Her long legs, like two brown string beans, sprout from her shorts. It's going to rain, I whisper. Put on your suit and come straight over. Slick with sweat, I run back home and slip up the steps past Mama. She's nearly senseless in the sizzling heat, kneeling over the hot rump of a melon. Well, there she is, sneaking past in the distance, and there her mother is still bending over the flower garden. In the kitchen, I pour iced tea to the top of a tall glass. I aim a spoonful of sugar into my mouth, then a second into the drink. Got you some tea, Mama, I say, pulling her inside the house. Mama sinks into a kitchen chair and sweeps off her hat. Sweat trickles down her neck and wets the front of her dress and under her arms. Mama presses the ice-chilled glass against her skin. Aren't you something, Tessie, she says. I nod smartly. Rain's coming, Mama, I say. Mama turns to the window and sniffs. It's about time, she murmurs. So there's Tessie making the iced tea for her mother, and there's her mother taking a break from the hot weather and the gardening. So just before a storm comes in the summertime, often it gets even warmer because the air is full of water vapor, and it's warm water vapor, and it makes everything around feel sticky and hot. Jackie Joyce, in her bathing suit, knocks at the door, and I let her in. Jackie Joyce has her suit on, Mama, I say. May I wear mine too? I hold my breath, waiting. A breeze blows the thin curtains into the kitchen and then sucks them back out against the screen again. Is there thunder, Mama asks. No thunder, I say. Is there lightning, Mama asks. No lightning, Jackie Joyce says. You stay where I can find you, Mama says. We will, I say. Go on then, Mama says, lifting the glass to her lips to take a sip. Come on, Rain, I cheer, peeling out of my clothes and into my suit, while Jackie Joyce runs to get Liz and Rosemary. So there they are, watching the wind blow the curtains in and out, looking for the rain. And Mama is stepping outside the door to see if there's thunder or lightning. So Mama's feeling kind of worried, but the girls are excited. We meet in the alleyway. All the insects have gone still. They're waiting for the storm too. Trees sway under a swollen sky, and the wind grows bold and bolder. And just like that, rain comes. Can you see how the artist or the illustrator has made the sky dark with clouds, gray clouds? And can you see how the girls have their hands up waiting to feel the rain that's just about to come? The first drops plop down big, making dust dance all around us. There's the raindrops on the girls' bare feet. Then a deeper gray descends and the air cools and the clouds burst. So when the big fat clouds burst and the rain starts to come down, it cools off that heavy, hot, humid air. And suddenly rain is everywhere. Come on, rain, we shout. It streams out through our hair and down our backs. It freckles our feet, glazes on our toes. We turn in circles, glistening in our rain skin. Our mouths wide, we gulp down the rain. Now, do you notice something about the color on this page? Up until now, the pages have been filled with a lot of gray because the sky was getting grayer and grayer as the storm was coming, and it was hot and humid. But now that the rain is coming, the air has lightened up. It doesn't feel so heavy and it's cooler, and the artist is using those bright colors on the girls' bathing suits because it helps us to see how they're feeling lighter and happier. The colors help us to understand the weather and also how the girls are feeling. Jackie Joyce chases Rosemary, who chases Liz, who chases me. Wet, slicking our arms and legs, we splash up the block, squealing and whooping in the streaming rain. Does that sound like fun to you? It looks like they're having a lot of fun. We make such a racket, Miss Glick rushes out on her porch. Miss Grace and Miss Vera come next, and then comes Mama. They run from their kitchens and skid to a stop. Leaning over the rails, they turn to each other. A smile spreads from porch to porch, and with a wordless nod, first one, then all. There they are watching from their porches, watching the girls having fun in the rain. What do you think they're going to do? First, they fling off their shoes, skim off their hose, tossing streamers of stockings over their shoulders. Our bare-legged mamas dance down the steps and join us in the fresh, clean air, while the music from Miss Glick's phonograph shimmies and sparkles and streaks like night lightning. So there's the mamas taking off their shoes and stockings so they can come down and dance in the rain with their daughters while they're listening to the music. Jackie Joyce, Liz, Rosemary, and I, we grab the hands of our mamas. We twirl and we sway them, tromping through puddles, romping and reeling in the moisty green air. We swing our wet and wild-haired mamas till we're all laughing under trinkets of silver rain. There's the girls and their mamas having fun together. I hug Mama hard and she hugs me back. The rain has made us feel new. As the clouds move off, I trace the drips on Mama's face. Everywhere, everyone, everything. His misty limbs springing back to life. We sure did get a soaking, Mama, I say. And we head home, purely soothed, fresh as the dew, turning toward the first sweet rays of the sun. As you can see the sun shining in the background there, on the blue houses and the yellow sky. There's more color now than just gray. The gray clouds have disappeared. And that was our book for today, called Come on Rain, written by Karen Hess, and the pictures were by John Muth. I hope you enjoyed that story. We'll talk more about rain tomorrow.